And welcome to Large Format Live. I'm your host, Matt Marrash. Can everybody see me and hear me out there? It says I'm pushing to the stream, but I want to make sure. So go ahead and let me know down below in the chat that you can see what I'm saying and all of that good stuff. Everybody see me out there? Everybody hear me? Perfect. All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm trying something new with a browser kind of interface thing, and it's giving me a little bit of lag, but I think it's going to be a little more stable. I mean, heck, we got it in the same stream key. I think this is the first stream in like 4 of them that has actually come through the way it's supposed to. So welcome to everybody. Thanks for stopping by today. I don't think I'm going to do as long of a live stream as I've done the past few months. So thank you all. I'm going to adjust this main camera because it's a little bit too bright, and then we're going to get going. I had the ISO initially lower, and that's what I should have done in the first place. So let's get that ISO back down a little bit. There we go. Bring that down, and I think that's going to look a little bit. Oh yeah, that looks quite a bit better. So hey, let's start saying hi's to everybody. Oh my gosh, how many people are in here? We're live with quite a few folks. Let's see, who else here? Who's here? We've got 28 folks already. Thanks for stopping by. Disco Shrew, hey, what's going on? Colimatron, Devin, hey, how's it going, man? All right, Stuart, there's Lore. Lore's moderating the chat again, by the way. So Lore, thank you so much for doing that. We got Jim. Jim, hey, thanks, man. All right. Hey, I see JP in the chat. Nice, nice. Okay. Dennis, thanks for stopping by from Croatia. That's amazing, amazing. Gaston, thank you for stopping by. KZ. All right. Brett, Fra, Ulrich, Nolan, John, more JP. Whoa, more messages. Yeah. Let's show. I want to see all the messages. There we go. Oh, sweet. The chat stuff is pushing over. So I'm trying a new feature where I can like highlight stuff. Gonna be doing like a little bit of Q&A and all that good stuff. I got Lars. Hey. Oh, we got the CNR squad. We gotta let folks know there is a lot of CNR love in the chat today. Now, despite that, I didn't haul the CNR all the way up here to the darkroom. I did, however, bring up the Takahara, which she's doing good. She's hanging in there. Old Madoka. She's an old girl, and she's got she's got a few bumps and bruises, but she does all right. Okay. Back to the main chat. Oh, my secret reveal is becoming unrevealed already. I better pull this back. This is for later, everybody. Wait until we get the chat rolling for a few minutes. All right, Brad. Hey, how's it going? Augustine from Oslo. Thanks for joining us. Tel Aviv, that's amazing. You guys are coming from around the world. This is what I love about doing the live stream and really just about having the channel. It's worldwide. There are more people. I've reached more people in large format in the last year and a half than I had in the previous, like, I don't know, decade before I started redoing this stuff. So this is what it's all about. This is what I love. All right. Got New York City showing up. All right. After check live stream. Oh, Tamaz, thanks for joining us today. Chopper, Gabrielle. All right. Whoa, we have Gaston. Thank you so much for the donation. Guys, super chats are like a totally optional thing. It goes through YouTube, so it does funnel through. So not all of it makes it to support the channel, but I really appreciate when you do these super chats. I'm going to be trying to throw up as many comments and questions here today. It'll also help me keep track of things as we go along. So thank you so much. Don't feel obligated with super chats, or if you're already an LFF sustaining member, you are doing plenty. Really, just share the stream with your friends. That's the biggest thing I can ask. So thank you, Gaston, again so much. I appreciate it. We have got Paul, got J.M. Davis. Mate from Hungary. We have Ron from Massachusetts. All right, more CNR gang. This is awesome. Okay. Yeah, we are a little bit lagged, Laura, and it's because I had to end up pushing it through Restream. So I'm like hitting like 5 pieces of hardware to make this monstrosity of a live stream work, but it's going and just barely at that rate. So hey, at least everybody can use the original link and stream key to do it. So I'm very excited about that. Oh, you know what? I didn't post on social media that I'm doing this stream. It's fine. It's fine. We got 50 folks. This is great. This is what we love to see. All right, we got JP, we got Terry over the West Coast, we got Paul from Nebraska. Cool. We got Chris. Hey, Chris. Good seeing you. Burlap and Light. Hey, Burlap and Light. I'm digging those TikToks, so keep those up. Oh, I know. I know I've been like doing like shorts and stuff like that lately. I just think it's a way to engage and kind of broaden the the excitement about large format photography. I am seeing, I don't know, are you guys seeing the shift? Are you guys seeing the increase in popularity in film photography in large format it feels like the last 6 months? People have just been like going for it. I don't know if it's because we're all just like, some of us are just like getting back out, or we're finally going stir crazy for those of us that are in lockdown or quarantine. And it's like, you know what, I just have to get back out there and shoot. And heck, I'm going rabid. I'm going as big a camera and as big a piece of film as possible. I've really noticed it at the shop through Midwest Photo. A lot of folks are coming in and they're asking about film. I'm even having folks come in and like, they're like, hey, can I show you a TikTok? And you can tell me what camera that is. And it's usually a Contax and it's usually out of the budget, but I'm happy to help. So I want to engage as many folks with this stuff as possible. I think it's huge. All right, we've got, I'm getting a warning from YouTube about my what's going on with the resolution? Okay, I think, actually, you know what? I need to look that up. So, to USD. What is that? Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, very cool. Sorry, I have to keep up with the chat. This is like, oh my gosh. Okay, we've got Paul, we've got Chris. Okay, there we go. Whoa, Ash in Bangladesh. That is awesome. All right, we've got Don, we've got Brett checking in from Dallas, shooting graphic. Actually, I'll pin your message here. Thanks for joining us, Brett. Okay, we got Terry, we got Paul, we got, okay. Yeah, I do agree with that sentiment, Laura. People are definitely like, I am somewhat responsible. I'm not trying to hype it, but I live and breathe large format, so that's kind of my deal. Oh, JP, thank you. I really like doing the shorts. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys. I actually did start with, I rebooted my TikTok-ish presence. It's been kind of fun. I'm going to start trying, I don't want to have it just be a TikTok where it's like, hey, I'm just kind of like pushing the same thing from shorts over to TikTok. I'm going to try to include original TikTok stuff and then maybe move some of them over to the channel. I don't know. I'm still playing around with it. I'm having fun and I'm seeing all sorts of new folks that I've never engaged with on Instagram or YouTube or any of that stuff. So it's a really cool thing to see. And I need to share my screen over. So let me bump this over to the other side. And there it is. Yeah. So if you head over, you can go to tiktok.com/@Matt4226, and that will that's my screen name. If you ever see MAT4226 on anything, that's me. That's been my screen name since like the mid '90s or something. I've had it for way too long. So thank you so much. All right, Fenna, thanks for stopping by before bed. All right. Oh, Devin, I totally agree. The server, the One More Stop server has like, they're digging the sheets. It doesn't help that there's so many amazing photographers on the One More Stop Discord group. So if you do have Discord, I recommend joining them. They're awesome, open, inclusive. They have like their own like academy and education department. It's a really cool thing to check out. We got Brandon from Minnesota. Ooh, with the Wista, nice. Wista, Takahara, very similar families, awesome, reliable cameras. Nice, all right. Tomas, going to CNR. Hey, yeah, loving it. All right, Hamburg, German, whoa, that is so cool. Welcome to the stream and Tetanol's hometown. Let me know if you've tried those new tablets for film chemicals. I think that's such a cool thing. Yeah, film is definitely like back and in a big way. All right, we got Graham in Iowa City. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, we've got, oh man, we have 66 folks now. This is amazing. All right, so I guess I'm going to start with the not so great news. A lot was crunching this weekend, and I didn't have a chance to make things working in the darkroom. So I don't have anything like printing going today, which is kind of sad. That's why I did bring the big camera here. So I'm sorry, guys. I kind of let you down on that one, but I do have announcements to make, and those are going to take some time. I did preface that with this week's LFF. So I've got some announcements. I want to talk about some things, and I think I might even like give away a print or two here during the live stream just to celebrate the 10K subs mark. And of course, this is a live stream, so questions, I'll do my best to answer those in order. And since I have the ability to pop them up on the chat, or Laura can pin them, I should be able to see those and answer those in hopefully a decent amount of time. I also have multiple shots to choose from today. I do have the Takahara over here. So if anybody has any camera questions like movements and things like that, I can address those right at the source on the camera. By the way, if you're just joining us, welcome to Large Format Live. My name is Matt Marrash. I am the host of Large Format Friday. You can look it up just by typing in large format photography into your YouTube or Google search bar, and you should see this big hair come up. It's not as big today, but it's gonna get bigger. It'll come back. So we're just hanging out, chilling, talking about large format photography, and really answering a bunch of film related questions. I've got some announcements, and let's get to those after welcoming some more folks to the channel. Let's see. So first question I'm seeing up here is from Chopper. Which, with bigger formats becoming popular, are you seeing more interest in paper negatives? You know, it's interesting. I think as people get into large format, they'll usually, it seems like people are acquiring the gear first and then kind of deciding how they're going to go with it second. And the decision to go with paper negatives usually occurs after like the first big fail with an expensive piece of film. So I don't think they're getting it right away, but as soon as they have that one moment where it's like, I just wasted how much sheet of Portra? Yeah, let's try some paper negatives. I also am seeing at Midwest Photo a lot more folks get into the Ilford or the Harman direct positive paper, which I haven't seen that in the better part of a year, and now it's kind of starting to flow, and people are picking it up. So a little bit of yes, a little bit of no on that one. Let's see. No, I don't want to block that user. I just wanted to hide that comment. Okay, there we go. All right. Dennis says, in the last year, there's a revival of old photographic techniques. I am totally in agreement with that. I think alt process has never been more accessible. I'm really happy to be like a small part of that by talking about and hyping up the UV source, which is like, it's right behind me. That's what this wood is back here. It's my alt process, my plate burner. Oh, they're so much cheaper. Like I remember probably like 2012, I was looking into LED light sources because I was hearing people say these are the future for screen printing. And to get like a nice, like heavy duty made in the USA one, they were like $4 grand for the smallest unit. It would have been like 10 by 12. That's crazy. Now there's like under $100 if you're handy and have a couple extra tools. I think if you had to buy all the tools to do it yourself and you had no tool experience, you could probably still do it for under $300. Which is still cheaper than like the cheapest commercially available or even like a used like plate burner. So really, really efficient. And even though UVs are not power efficient, most of the energy is still given off as heat for UV sources, they still consume way, way less power and generate way less heat than your other like UV plate burner sources, especially like those mercury vapor units. All right. Hey, we have somebody from Greece. That's awesome. All right, we've got Paul. Great. Oh, Ryan, thanks for joining us from Sydney. Oh my goodness, we're almost at 80 folks. Thanks everybody for sticking around. We've got Noah from Liechtenstein. Cool seeing you, Noah. All right. All right, so quick question. Oh, here we go. I got another question coming up. Quick question. Do you develop 4x5 sheets of film at the same time as 35mm film? So for the most part, even though the film base is different, most of the emulsions scale appropriately to sheet film. The only thing that might impact that is if you're used to rotary development versus like open trays. So I think it was way back in like episode 12 of Large Format Friday in season 1, where I talked about the different ways to develop sheet film. When you're developing sheet film in hangars and tanks or open trays, there's more access to oxygen and things are shifting around. So you may have to bump the development time by about 15% to account for exhaustion. But if you're in a closed tank, like you would see with a 20th century reel in a tank, or the like the Stearman press tank, you're not going to have to worry about that. Use the same time that you use in 35mm. Now, there are some varieties which have a large format specific one, like Tri-X is Tri-X 400, which is just TX, or you go up to in medium format and large format, you have TXP, which is the 320 speed variety. They really do get about the same time, but it depends on your developer combo and all that. So pretty close to the same for the most part. But thanks for the question. All right. Ulrich, you know, this is a really good point. LFF, I'm not going to lie, the analytics have confirmed time and time again that it is pretty male dominated. I would love to see some more activity, but you know, love to see is like a comment that's putting it on the ladies. It's my responsibility to bring as many people into it. And another reason I've been approaching shorts as another avenue for the content is I'm getting more engagement with females than I ever have with shorts and TikTok. When I do those, I get a whopping 5% as opposed to big old goose egg. That's for the first year, LFF was getting 0% engagement with the ladies. So I would love to, I need to keep doing things to include as many numbers as possible. That's my secret goal, to make CNR like the #1 most sought after camera again, and to see just all sorts of folks. I want to see large format as represented as other cameras. I think we could get large format to the point where we're seeing like Mamiya RBs and RZs right now, which just, they're ravenous. All right. Hey, Sammy. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, also, this is a 10K celebration stream, so thank you so much for everybody that's stuck with LFF so far. Oh man, we're up to 80 folks. I gotta start getting things interesting. All right, we have a question from Jeremy. I'm curious. I hear a lot about 4x5 and 8x10, but what are your thoughts about 5x7? And oh, you know what? So Jeremy, I have, man, it seems like every live stream I'm like talking about 5x7, and I promise I'm not trying to dig on 5x7. There are less emulsions out there. It's more of a specialty format than it once was, maybe in like the 70s and 80s. We're just not seeing as much of it. It's still a really cool format, and I love the aspect ratio of 5x7. It just does not get that same love. 5x7 has more lenses available than 8x10, but still less than 4x5. So it's kind of like this, it really is the middle child. It's getting less attention than the baby, the 4x5. I shouldn't say 4x5 is baby. It's still the most popular one, but it does kind of fall under the radar because color, you're left to special order processes, which if you do want color in 5x7, Keith Canham, so Canham Cameras, CANHAM cameras.com has you covered that for the Kodak special ordering. So I think 5x7 is still popular. There's a lot of great cameras out there, and you can usually get them for cheaper than 4x5, but be careful. Holders will be about as expensive as 8x10, and modern ones will be harder to get a hold of, and the films are way harder to get a hold of. Your best chance for 5x7 in large sheet counts is to do the Ilford ULF special order, which has sadly ended for 2021 already. Anybody that pre-ordered in that's going to get those in November, December. Everybody else is going to have to wait until next year, so that's probably going to start late April, early May. So Jeremy, thanks for that question. If you're just joining us, we're doing large format live. We're doing some Q&A, 10K subs live stream. All right, hey, we've got some more questions. Nolan says, I'm going to start doing contact prints with an LED light bulb. Which LED should I go for? Cold and warm, 5 watt, 7 watt, it's 480 lumens, okay. So just regular contact prints, and I was thinking like UV prints. So with a UV, with like an LED light bulb, you're going to want to get the lowest wattage input possible. If possible, you might even want to look into an LED that's like a battery powered dimmable one that can fit into the Edison socket. I know there's that new Aperture Amaran 6C, I believe it's called, which is a screw-in light bulb that you can actually control the color temperature and the intensity down to very small percentages, which would be the equivalent of like half a watt input. So that might be the way to go. It's not cheap, but it's such a practical light for all sorts of things. So it's called, actually, let me see if I can look it up here real quick. So the Aperture Amaran, I think it's the 6C, Aperture Amaran Edison bulb. I'm trying to look this up live. This is not like a good idea. Let's see. Oh, it's called the Aperture, it's just called the Aperture RC. And it's going to, it's going to look just like a screw-in light bulb, except it's full RGB WW, meaning it can change all the colors and things. So that would be a good one to look at. All right, we got 77 folks. This is amazing. Chris, real quick, lightning round. Best developer for continuous agitation. I tend to recommend developers that I really like solvent-based developers. So like just your standard like D76, HC110, they seem to do really, really well with rotary and they develop out really fast. I've not found that sweet spot yet. I know a ton of folks that use rotary and use pyro, but I'm not there yet. If you want to get good with pyro in rotary development, the person I'd recommend talking to about that would be Mr. Scott Davis. He's who I learned some of the rotary processing techniques and platinum palladium from. So Scott is based out of Washington, DC. Really, really awesome dude. All right. Oh man, I think I am like 10 years behind in the chat. So thank you guys so much for the comments. I'm going to keep combing through those as we go. All right. Let's see. All right, Max Shoots Film has a question. I did my first ever wet plates a while ago. Do you think you'll ever make a video about it? Yes. Am I good at it though? No. So anytime I do a wet plate video, I'm probably gonna have to partner with a few different folks that are good at plates. I attempted plates in 2011, 2012, right around when I started thinking, I should do this whole YouTube thing again. And it was like, that was when plates were becoming like really, really big, that kind of like 2000s resurgence had kind of hit peak, and I wasn't feeling it. I had some time, but not enough time, and definitely not enough money to really, really get going with it. So if I did give it an honest chance, I would probably have to become a hermit and like really, really study at it. But more than likely, I'm going to get with a buddy of mine or two that do plates and kind of coordinate on that type of video. So yes, one will definitely be coming, but I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole again. Okay. Yannick, really good question. Where can I buy a 4x5 and larger? My answer to everyone when they ask this question is don't buy one. Try to find one, because for every one person that wants to purchase a brand new and larger, there's probably 10 folks like throwing them away, like literally saying, come and get it. Patience is a virtue on the used gear, but I totally get it if you're in an area where there's maybe not that much, not many film photographers or like a used camera store nearby, but hit up local thrift shops, talk to local antique dealers and see what they might come across. Or if you know anybody who does picking, say, hey, I'm looking out for this. You'd be surprised what you can find for free. All right. Oh, Adam, yeah, totally agree. FPP is a fantastic show. What show, as they would say. Asher from Jamaica, very, very cool. Good to have you. Okay, just received the, oh, okay. Mariette, very cool comment here. I received the Lomo Graph Lock Instant Wide. Oh, very, very, very cool. There must be some Instax-wise 800 ISO. But how do I workshop this out? Oh, so yes, I would recommend looking into bellows extension factor. I actually have a couple of videos on the channel that talk about bellows extension factor. I think it was like episode 8 of season 1 of LFF. But just know if you're shooting up large format camera, actually, what am I doing? I've got a camera over here. Let's head over to it. If you are working with your large format camera, so right now I have my my standard lens, which is a 300 millimeter on the Takahara here. 300 millimeters is about 12 inches. And if I start extending the camera beyond that 12 inches, like really, really, really far, like this, if you're extending beyond the infinity focal length, you have to start thinking, oh, it's losing light. And another way to think about this is your lens does not have any optics that move, right? They're just kind of fixed all the time. So what you need to do is when you push that lens further and further out, you are physically changing that, how far the light has to travel to reach the film. You are changing the focal length and thereby changing that aperture. A good rule of thumb is every 50% of the focal length beyond infinity, so infinity's here, 50% of that, I can just eyeball it. So I'm like, okay, about here. Aha, so I am more than 50% of the focal length of the lens. So I'm gonna need to add 1 f-stop. And another way to measure it, if you have twice your focal length, that's 2 stops. Very few folks are going to be going closer than 2 stops worth of bellows. If I'm focused about 6 feet away from a subject with a standard lens in large format, I'm going to add a stop just to be safe. Now that Fuji Instax, it is a little bit tighter on its dynamic range, but that should be a good ballpark on there. Paco, greetings from Mexico. Very, very, very cool. All right. Christian, thank you so much for the congrats on 10K. All right. Oh, good question. So question is, do I do one-on-one virtual coaching? Yes, I do. I've actually done that a few times with folks that have watched large format. If you head over to Marrash.com, and there's a little tab that has like 3 little like a little bar in the upper left-hand corner, you can go to underneath commercial and it says one-on-ones. Actually, let me head over there right now. I am on the website. Where's the website showing up? I am not seeing it. Oh, I don't want to send you just over to TikTok all the time. But if you head over to Marrash.com, you will see the, how can I get over there then? You know, maybe I will just, I'll do it this way. I'll be a little bit sneakier. All right. No, come on. I'm just trying to show my, show the screen, Control T. Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna do it this way. Okay, so if you head over to Marrash.com, that is my website right there. If you click this little guy, and you'll see a thing that says commercial, and underneath commercials, I have commissions. That's for like historic documentation stuff, and then one-on-one workshops. And I also have a thing that says distance learning, so you can contact me. The easiest way to check it out. So thank you so much for that question. This is a question I've been asked a couple times, and I've actually seen it on some of the large format groups. Can you expose cyanotypes with an enlarger under a powerful UV lamp? I actually saw somebody on the large format and alt process group doing this, and you have to be careful about heat. The amount of heat that's generated with ultraviolet LED lights, like 97% of the energy that goes into that comes off as heat. And you could actually damage, crinkle, or potentially burn your negative if it's in a fixed source that doesn't have a way to escape all of that air. So is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? Not really. All right. Good question. You can just ask questions right in the chat. For those long form questions, or if for some reason I don't get to yours, you can shoot me an email, largeformatquestions@gmail.com. And we're still at 74 folks. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream today. We're celebrating 10K, doing Q&A, and I've got some announcements. And my announcement, my first announcement, I should probably make that here pretty soon. I'm gonna do 2 more questions, then we'll get to our announcement. All right, very, very, very cool. Whoa, I totally missed a donate. So thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you very, very much. That was the same question I just answered. But well, thank you so much for the super chat, and you can consider that credit if we do end up doing some distance learning. The first 10 bucks are already covered. So fantastic. All right. Brian, thanks for joining us. Yes. I opened up a tab. There's probably like 5 minutes where I'm slack-jawed in the beginning of this live stream where I'm like, wait, 500. It's still a lot, and I appreciate that contribution. Yeah, you only see the number, and it doesn't. YouTube doesn't like translate over what the amount is, so there is some conversion factor that goes into it. So that was it still shocked me very much. All right. Oh, very, very, very cool. Oh man, yeah, I know I'm like miles behind on this chat. So, oh, you know what? This is a all right. Devin's got a take for us here. I can see this. Okay, so Devin, you actually bring up a really, really great point. I have to actively look for certain YouTubers to find their stuff. Even YouTubers I am legit subscribed to, I've noticed if that YouTuber does not look like me, I don't get their push notifications. I literally click the bell on them and I don't get their push notifications until about 2 days later. So am I sus of the algorithm? Yeah, every freaking day. But yeah, you got me thinking there, Devin. So I appreciate that. All right, so let's see. Stuart, this is a really good suggestion. I actually have a list I've been working on probably since mid last year, and the timing is probably the hardest part, especially in this still pandemic situation that we're in. But I have talked to some awesome photographers that I do want to work with and do something. And I don't want to call it. Brian's already got the best name for him. So Analog Artisans is out. I don't have, I can't use that name, but I'm thinking of something. But yes, there are collab-ish, interview-ish things coming. So a lot of really, really talented folks. When I got started, actually, some of the first folks that would give me the time of day to talk about large format photography weren't some of the white male photographers I looked up to. They were actually fantastic women, and women that I didn't know shot large and ultra large format. I was like, wait, you carry that? And like, that's what was like, all right, I got to stop complaining. If they can carry this Toyo 8x10 monorail camera on site, I can probably haul this thing. It's no problem. All right. Oh, Laura, thanks for dropping the link for the one-on-ones in the chat. I really, really, really appreciate it. Perfect. Yeah, Laura's always got the quick draw JP. Yep, she's on it. All right. Oh, this is a really good question. Michael asks, do I have comparisons between analog silver printing and inkjet with the same negative? I have prints like that, and I think once you start doing enough black and white silver, like silver gelatin or contact prints, you'll always be able to tell the difference. Another thing that's weird is you see inkjet black and white prints or black and white prints that are done with like a digital camera, and then you just you'll always see the color tone to it. So I can almost tell which inkjet printer some of these come from anymore. There are new ones that do like the cone inks and piezo inks and stuff. But I think black and white, a nice toned black and white, especially selenium toned black and white, still takes the cake for me. Another thing that is different is you may need different kind of like densities to get a solid print, and what scans well doesn't necessarily print well, and vice versa. So it's a bit of a balancing act. All right. Oh man, we're up to 80 folks. Thank you so much for joining Large Format Friday. I really, really appreciate it. Cool. All right. Oh, all right. So Nolan, good question. Ilford earlier this week announced and like won an award at a show with their new pop-up darkroom. And the first thing I had kind of a snarky take. I was like, where's the ventilation? And it wasn't until a few days later when I saw somebody took a picture that they had positioned the table in the booth kind of covering up, but there is a vent hole that you can put a fan to pump air through. So it is well thought out. It's also made as an Ilford Patterson collab. And honestly, two UK companies that are just like, they are synonymous with their products the way Kleenex is. I've got confidence that it's going to do well. The only thing I hope it doesn't do is that same thing that all of the Harrison tents. So if you know the Harrison company with their pop-up changing bags and tents, if those things get rolled together for too long, something in like the plastic or the metallic finish stuff, or the blackout material gets like sticky and like really smells bad after a while. So hopefully it doesn't do that, but I would love to check it out. So if Mike from Ilford, North America, if you're watching this, I would love to try one out. I'd take it on location. Heck, that'd be great. So I wanted to point this one out in the chat. So Devin is our founder for One More Stop, the Discord group. Really great guy, and super big on being as inclusive as possible in film photography. It's something that I want to follow the example that he has led. So great job at doing that. I think it is. I think it's time to make a little bit of an announcement. We've waited a little bit long, so it's taken a half hour to get here. So I want to, you know, I've been building up toward it. So something cool is coming out, and it's the official announcement is coming out next week, but I guess this is kind of official. There's plenty of folks watching worldwide. So one of my best buddies in the world of film photography, Mr. Michael Rosso, let me in on a little secret. There's another film coming out this year, and it's a really, really cool one. I'm gonna take off my apron here, and we can talk a little bit more about it. So coming soon to the world of film photography, this year we have another, Film Photography Project has another film coming out. It's one of their themed films. This is FPP Frankenstein, which is going to be a 200 speed black and white film. The most exciting thing about Frankenstein is it's going to be available in 35, in 120, and freaking 4x5. Yes, I am so stoked. We have a new 4x5 film. Pretty darn cool. I think more offerings in the market, the better. I think it's also going to be offered in motion picture. But anyway, this is a large format stream. I'm hyped for large format. So I've got a few sheets of this stuff, review sort of thing for the channel here coming up, but heard it here first. FPP Frankenstein, the announcement goes out, the official press release and stuff, pricing. I don't even know pricing and availability, but I'm hyped because I got it and I asked Mike if I could talk about it. And all right. All right, I see a ton of questions. I'm going to try to backpedal to some of those, but I want to like come current because, okay, there we go. Yeah, we've got some hype about the FPP Frankenstein. So I'm pretty hyped about it. I don't know, I don't know anything about it other than it's here. It just got here yesterday. So and Mike sent me a shirt. So, cause he's awesome with branding like that. Like, when it comes to branding, merch, marketing, all that, like Mike's the man. He's just been doing this for so long. Like he says, oh yeah, let's get a 4x5. Like how cool is that? Oh yeah, there's cool. I'm gonna backpedal and do some, back up the chat and do some Q&A stuff. And yeah, and if you've got questions about Frankenstein, I don't really have answers. Not a single thing. I haven't even loaded it up yet. Here we go. Let's see. Brad asks, have you ever tried the trick of taking off one of the elements of your lens to double the focal length? What are the pitfalls of this? Really good question. Is that removing the front group or rear group will change the effective focal length. One of the ones I always remember were the Turner Reich triple convertible lenses. So Turner and then Reich, R-E-I-C-H. They had usually like 2 or 3 different focal lengths depending on the combination of front group, rear group, or front plus rear group. This is another one really famous for that is the Cooke XVA for the Cooke look, or the easiest way to spend $6,500 in 8x10. And those lenses are cool, but a lot of times when you start taking off elements, well, a lot of the elements are there for correction. And correction could mean you could have significantly more like color fringing, or different wavelengths of light aren't going to hit the film plane at the same point. So usually these convertible lenses have a better, dreamier look on black and white film where you can pump a lot more contrast into it versus shooting color where it could just look, weird. What I'm shooting this live stream on right now is a super apochromatic, absurdly aspherical corrected Sony G Master lens. And, they don't even say apo on lenses anymore because it's just assumed that they are. In large format though, you probably want one that says it if you want it to have the same like crisp modern look that you're used to with your digital stuff. So generally the lens that's not meant to or designed for that doubling trick, you're going to lose some image quality but gain some image circle and a different field of view. Let's see. Sammy asks, digital negatives. I have. I would recommend the Pictorico OHP transparency material. That one's been around probably the longest of all of them, but I've also used InkPress and ProMaster's digital negative stuff. The ProMaster stuff was odd. They all have a slightly different color cast. The Pictorico OHP has like a frosted blue kind of appearance. The ink press, I think, had like a yellowish tinge to it, and then the ProMaster had a whole different tinge. I want to say it was like greenish. None of them are like truly neutral because they all have different things to add to catch that ink and create a, you know, a negative. Oh, these questions are great. Thank you so much, guys. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Large Format Live. We're here doing some Q&A. I just announced a really cool film to the world, FPP Frankenstein, 200 speed film. It's coming to 4x5, which, I mean, the more, the merrier. I'm very happy to see that. All right. Will a gallon flex ever come by? I would love to see a gallon flex. And Judah, I know you're hungry for one. I've seen your messages pop up in the One More Stop server. It's I would love to see another one. I haven't seen one in what, 6 or 7 years. So odds are low, but you know, at least my back will be stronger by the time. The more time that goes without touching one, the stronger my back becomes. All right. Oh, cool question. Would I recommend getting into someone getting to RA4 printing at this stage? You know, I don't really know any good books for color because I didn't pursue it initially. Black and white's kind of my mainstay, but I have not done a lot of it. RA4 though, I think there's really good materials out there for it. There's a lot of good video resources out there for it. I know Ribsy, on YouTube has really awesome channel, and he has a lot of good complete videos on printing RA4. And I know some of the folks on the One More Stop server have been doing RA4, so you can check them out. And Greg over at the Naked Photographer, he's got some good step-by-step tutorials on RA4 printing. So there's more information, just like everything else out there with film photography, there are more folks talking about it and sharing what they know. So I am probably not the go-to guy. The most I do with RA4 is use it in the complete wrong way, which is that RA4 reversal where I do lots of filtering and extra processing to it. Very cool. All right, let's see. Okay, oh, here we go. Now we're to the Frankenstein hype. Devin, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it very, very much. Yes, FPP Frankenstein in 4x5. I am super excited for it. So cool. Brett, I have no idea. No, it's 200 speed traditional emulsion. It's not T-grain. From what I can tell. I don't even have a data sheet, so I'm probably going to go through my testing procedure. By the way, if you haven't checked out the channel yet, you can you know, click my little icon, head to the channel, get subscribed, and look at the season 3 playlist. We talked about how to test film. I'm probably going to test this film, and I don't know if I'm going to do like a full test. I'm not going to take pictures of brick walls, guys. Like, I'm just not. That's not my. So like full official reviews with sensitometry, not my game, but I can tell you if I like it or, you know, how it does. All right. Very cool. The oh, this is here we got a question from Jacob Davis. Do I work with Packard shutters, front mount versus internal mount? So I have only worked with Packard. I don't own a Packard shutter, but I've seen a lot come through the shop, and they're pretty cool. So a Packard shutter is they're actually shutters that are still made new. It's a shutter that is meant to be mounted in front of, but typically behind the lens. A lot of them were designed to fit just behind the lens board. Actually, let me to my secondary camera here. So some Packard shutters were meant to sit in front of the lens, and some were meant to sit behind here with an opening that would just allow a shutter to go off. Packard shutters are great because you could use a squeeze bulb instead of a standard, like a standard kind of cable release. You would have the big bulb and you would press it in for an instantaneous exposure or a long bulb exposure. So haven't done a lot with those, but they're pretty neat, and you can still order them new, which is like amazing, considering it's like something you think about from like the history books, but it's still very much around. So I haven't done much with it, but I would recommend doing behind the shutter if you're going to shoot kind of lenses a lot, like barrel lenses. If the answer is, I don't know what I'm going to shoot, just front mount it, or, you know, maybe create an apparatus to hold it right in front of the lens. That might be pretty beneficial. All right. How are we doing here? Can you make Chopper's got another question. Let's see. Being make prints, is there any advice you can give for types of photography? Print hot presses. Don't buy old ones, if possible. My advice for esoteric gear that could cost hundreds or thousands for no reason other than that it's scarce or rare, try to see if there's something in a different industry that uses the same stuff. So what I mean is, actually, this kind of ties into something that Laura told me the other day. Let me show you. So this is a Tenba little like gear organizer separator thing. It's like, you know, it's bagly. It's just a bag. As soon as Laura saw it, you know what the first thing she said to me was? She was like, "Oh, Matt, when did you get that makeup bag? It looks so nice." And I just went, "Oh my God, I could have bought a makeup bag." There's so many more brands of makeup bag, and they would have worked. They would have been great, and they probably would have been a fifth the price. As soon as something is photo branded, the price goes up somewhere between 3 and 10 times. For no other reason than that photographers will buy it. And this is just my like opinion stuff. I'm not making any official statements on behalf of a store or anything. My 2 cents, if you can get something not in the photo industry, it's usually going to be cheaper. Another way to think about it is this. It's the economy of scale. If there's more people doing a thing and they need the same thing, it's going to be cheaper. And it might even get to the point where it's like subsidized to be cheaper. So, you know, there's more people that are working on houses, probably more people that are putting on makeup than working with film photography. Case in point, hot presses are also used in the printing industry and dye sublimation printing. So you can find hot presses for those way cheaper than old presses. Plus, old presses may start to have rust and things on them, or they might have cables that would set your house on fire as soon as you plug them into the wall. So stay safe. Keep your ear to the ground for, you know, similar industry uses, and you can find some cool stuff for on the cheap. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Trying to make sure I'm like giving folks that haven't hit a question. Oh man, we're up to 80 folks again. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm not going to do like a huge long live stream today, but this is the FPP Frankenstein was the main reason for doing this, 10K subs, but I do have some more cool stuff to chat about here in the live stream. So thanks again if you're just stopping by. This is large format live. The most large format thing is what I'm chatting about and a little bit with the camera, but thanks again. I really appreciate it. All right, who we got? Oh, hey, Carrie. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, here we go. I've got a question here. Matt, how do you budget for your large format shoot? Time with 4x5, but tend to hit a bit of a wall with cost for film and development. Thank you for being such a positive force. Well, thank you so much for the question. Honestly, I try to keep everything but the film as low as possible. Like camera, nothing here. Well, hold on, not nothing. There's only a few pieces of this entire kit that's behind me that's new. One of them was this NovaFlex quick release with the plate. That was way too much. It probably, I wish I would have found one used, but I never see them used. So I bought that new, but lens is used, cable release was used, camera was used. Oh no, the tripod was new, but that was like 8 years ago. So a lot of this stuff you can find used. Try not to buy, try not to buy new unless it's something that is still made new and you want to support it. Namely film. Film is a good thing to, try and keep supporting. And, it's almost a bit of a trope anymore that like, oh, you're supporting the industry by buying film. You are, but you are just as supporting it by going to see a movie that was shot on film or printed on film than shooting large format. But try to do it. It does help. It shows that we're still out there. And I think we're bigger bigger than we have been before. With development, if you can learn to develop yourself, especially black and white, you can get the costs down to a fraction. Color processing, if you have a good lab that does volume, color might not be worth it how often you shoot it. If all you shoot's color, yeah, learn to develop color and get a rotary processor like a Jobo or Phototherm if possible. But black and white, doing that yourself is way less expensive than having a lab do it because labs charge more because they control. This is because black and white films all get treated differently with different processing times because of the amount of silver and the different silver halides, silver chloride, iodide, bromide, that mix the speed and changes the developing time. The color film has one temperature, one time for all of them, unless you're doing push-pull. So learning to do black and white can save you a ton of money in the long run. That's also why you see me doing primarily black and white on the channel. That is till season 4. We're going to be seeing more color on season 4, so that's a little teaser for you guys. All right. All right, how? Let's see. Oh, we've got Dong with a question. Would I rather go for a durable but expensive cable release or many cheap ones over time? This is a fantastic question. I love this question, and I'm getting hyped about it because I love cable releases. I don't care who says otherwise. All right, we're heading over to the camera. I'm going to like wake up my Fuji here. So this cable release is a pretty nice one. This is like I think this is a Jeppy. It's more expensive than a cheapo cable release. These are about, if you buy them new, they're like 40 to 60 bucks, depending on where you're at in the world. That's not a cheap cable release. But I've also had this cable release, and I did buy this one used. I've had this one for like 4 or 5 years. I was going through old video footage from 2014. No, so I've had this for 7 years. If you buy a good cable release, it's going to last more than a couple of seasons. If you're a landscape photographer and you find yourself in vastly changing temperature conditions, hot and humid to super cold and super dry, get a good cable release, like a Jeppy. If you can find ebony cable releases, those are great. They're actually kind of finicky because those ones are more metal. But if you buy a cheap cable release, you're not just going to buy it once, you're probably going to buy a new one every year. If you find that you lose a lot of things, yeah, buy the cheap ones, but you're probably going to have to buy several of them. And it's just the same kind of quality versus quantity thing that we see all over. Consumers. I recommend getting a couple of good ones. I try to have as many in my bag as I have lenses, just in case. I don't always leave them attached to my lenses. On some lenses, that can actually harm the connection points, so be careful about that. Otherwise, yeah, go with the slightly nicer ones when possible. So that was a great question. Hell, you know what, Terry, this is a great question. I do shoot more than large format. In fact, before I came here and did the live stream, Laura can back me up on this. I shot a one whopping roll in the Hasselblad with the dogs. We went to the Dublin Pet Fair here in Columbus. It was an awesome outdoor event, and there were some cute doggos. And I shot a roll of Portra 160. So 12 exposures. That's a lot for me. But I need to love on my medium format camera more. I think it's, for me personally, it's by the time I get out to shoot large format, it's like I have such little time. And I'm setting up all the stuff with the tripod anyway. And I'm like, I might as well shoot large format. I feel the same way about 4x5 a lot of times. It's almost all the effort of the 8x10. Might as well just go big. And not all situations will call for it. So I was not going to schlep this thing at the Dublin Pet Fair with hundreds of people outside. So yeah, medium format made a lot more sense. But I should shoot more of it. And thanks for the reminder on that, Terry. All right. I'm sure I'm way behind on questions again. Oh, Kino, thanks for stopping by today. Appreciate it. Rob, thanks for stopping by. All right. Cool. Let's see. Dillinger says, hi, for your field camera, do you ever have a knob, nut, or washer fall off in the field? All right. I'm gonna up over here at the Takahara. Maybe you guys might lose respect for me if you see, oh wow, we have 86 folks. Thanks for stopping by. This is Large Format Live. We're doing Q&A, celebrating 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for those of you that subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, check out the channel. I've got full tutorials on different aspects of large format photography. And if you don't have time for that, I also have little 60-second shorts, so check them out. Anyway, heading over to the camera here. This Takahara, she's beat. And I say she because my 8x name is Madoka. And I can actually show you why, but Madoka is, she's seen some time. Not even all of these knobs on here are stock. Some of these knobs are replacements. Let me see if I can keep rotating the camera around here. There we go. See that nickel one? That is not a stock knob. That is very much a third-party knob. I just go to the hardware store. When I start having problems with grip and large format, the first place I go is the hardware store. And this is coming from a guy, guys, I literally work at a camera shop that has new and used gear and large format stuff. Large format parts, very few folks are making them. If they are, you have to buy them at scale and wait for them to ship overseas. It's not usually cost prohibitive unless you have a significant repair. Go to the hardware store. A lot of these are standardized parts. Bring the size screw with you. The folks at the local hardware store, Beachwold Hardware. Shout out if you're watching if you're from Beachwold Hardware, but thanks. They love it. Seeing me march in with the camera, and they're like, what the hell's this guy doing again? Coming in here with this weird stuff. But seriously, take it to the hardware store. They can probably help you out. And a lot of those folks will just help you out for free because you changed up their day with such a weird, wacky thing that isn't like another person that doesn't know how to use a drill. All right, I've got a comment from Anthony here. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That was a fun video to put together. And actually, I don't know if he's in the chat, or checking out the stream, but this topic for large format rules of thumb was actually suggested by the one and only Mr. Matt Day. So Matt, thanks for suggesting I come out with a video like that. Because I do have some tips and tricks stuff, but not one that was in like a super condensed space. That was a lot of fun to film. And that blackboard, by the way, that was actually like at a local school down the road from me in a dumpster. So I don't have video of me hauling this thing through the neighborhood, but I got a lot of eyes from folks driving by slowly, like, what is this guy doing? So that was a lot of fun. All right. Yes, Laura is scolding me for not using the Hassi more because actually she is the reason I still have the Hasselblad. There have been a few times in my life where times have gotten really, really tough and I've needed to start like making like hard decisions about should I keep this or sell that. And Laura every time was like, don't use Hasselblad. It is precious to you. It was my first like film camera that I purchased myself. I really thank you for making that decision for me, Laura. And I'm going to keep the Hasselblad no matter what. Okay, let's see. Oh, Ash, this is one I haven't heard about, so I'm going to pop this one up for everybody. We were just answering questions about cable releases. That's one I've never heard of, but I'm going to throw the suggestion up there. So thanks for showing that. All right, you're getting into 8x10. You know, every person that shoots 8x10 now that has watched the channel, I am so happy, but also I feel terrible because I know what 8x10 what goes into it. So I weep for your wallet and your relationship with significant others as a result of one of these big things coming into your life. But thanks for the thanks and for checking out the channel. All right, Terry, this one is this is a Jeppy cable release. I'll do the product review thing. So they usually come in like a red, an orange, and like a blue color. I've even seen like yellow ones before. I don't like the yellow. It's like a pale color. But that's what those are. Hey, we're up to 80 or over 80 folks. Thank you so much. All right. You know, Anthony, this is a great point. SK Grimes, I've used them for custom mounting flanges and shutter accessories. They're a machine shop that specializes in photography. Are they going to be cheap? No. But is the job going to last a lifetime? Yes. So that's why you go with a specific tooler or machiner. Graflex Parts also has lots of good stuff. These are some of the most part-intensive cameras to get into, and cool little piece of history. Graflex, right before they kind of went off the market, they got purchased by Singer, like the sewing machine manufacturer, which makes sense in the industrial scale because it's all metal and once they went to Singer, parts were getting really, really scarce. And I know because, well, a lot of the old photo.net and other older forums will come up with a search and say, hey, call Midwest. I usually end up with them on the phone and I have to say, I haven't seen a Graflex part in like a decade. So yeah, if you can get a hardware store job for cheap, cool. Otherwise, use these guys down below. Oh, Pablo, thanks for joining the live stream. I appreciate having all of you guys here. It's so awesome. Really good question from Anthony, yes, Tariq is going to be back, and he's going to be involved in season 4 in a big way. So look forward to him. He is just one of my best friends outside of photography. Like we can just hang out, and we get each other. But he's also just one of the most amazing photographers, and he is every bit as nice as you see him on camera or on his Instagram account. And yeah, so Tariq's just awesome. Appreciate it. When you shoot your shooting sessions out in the field, how much creative? Oh, you know what? This is a really cool little insider look question. So when I'm out shooting in the field, how much planning goes into it? I know I'm going to the location. No, but for real, many of these locations are ones that I have been to previously. Some of them I've been to dozens of times. Others I've only been once or twice. So a few earlier this month, when I headed down to the Rocky Fork Gorge and the preserve system down there, I'd only been there 3 times before, which I know that sounds like a lot, but that was over the course of 3 or 4 years. So some things were just, oh, well, that's closed. So, you find another way around. So I'm not like, I have bullet points in my head. So I do scripting and think of things to like talk about, or I kind of plan around where the light's going to be, but I don't have everything super meticulously planned. Just ask Lore. I go off the cuff. I go off script a lot. And the fieldwork episodes are about as unplanned as, for a pre-planned thing, they're about as unplanned as they get. So that was a great question. Thank you so much for that. Whoa. Thank you so much for the 20. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, thanks for stopping by today. That's he's got all the phrases down there in one. I love it. I love it. Christopher and I have been chatting probably ever since I first appeared as like a guest on FPP. So before I was even a co-host on FPP, Chris was there writing in, talking to the gang, and it's been really cool knowing him. And he might actually be one of my earliest collectors. So some of that had gone to my website, Marrash.com, and ordered some prints. So thank you so much, Chris. All right. Fantastic. You want to talk about a cable release? That Cinar shutter, that big shutter for the Cinars that can mount in front or behind. Ooh, that cable release, that's got like that thing has more kickback than some medium format cameras. It's meaty. I actually don't use the Cinar cable release because it's an extra long throw, and it can damage older shutters that are gummed up and weak. So I don't recommend it for normal lenses. But if you have old shutters, like if you have an old compound shutter, those old pneumatic shutters, those work really well with the Cinar release because it has that long. So just keep that in mind. All right, I've got one more chopper question here. Oh, we're at 95 folks. We're almost at 100, guys. Thank you so much. Have you ever used tent stakes smaller? Oh, okay. So I'm going to answer that with yes, I've used them. No, I haven't done enough to talk about it. And there's going to be a video about the wind coming. I don't know if it's going to be season 4 or season 5, but wind is a topic. It's on the list. And I've recently discovered some new things that help me. Okay, not discovered it, like I wasn't the first one, but I started trying things with large format to deal with wind, and they work. So yes, we're going to talk about wind. I haven't done a video on it yet though. Hosep, thank you so much for the question, and do not feel obligated to donate, but if you do want to, you can head over to Marrash.com/donate, and you can donate directly to the channel. That's also where you can check out our Large Format Friday sustaining memberships, where you can over a recurring amount of months, you can donate $1, $5, and $10 with perks starting at the $5 a month level. That perk is going to be, I do a handwritten thank you note and send it, anywhere in the world. I am a little behind on thank you notes, but I am trying to get there. I appreciate all of you so much. And at the $10 level, you also get priority email access. So you shoot me an email question, I get back to you within 24 hours. And if I don't, I am profusely sorry, but I think I've only missed like one. So keep it going, guys. I really appreciate it. Let's see, some more questions, and then I'm going to do announcement number 2 that I've got going on here. Don, one more question from Don. I'm planning on taking a trip to Iceland. Any winter on the field shooting tips? I love shooting in the winter. In fact, I like shooting in the fall, winter, early spring more than the summer. Like the weather's good in the summer, but man, I get so hot carrying all that stuff. The winter is great because just hiking around keeps me nice and warmed up. But when you're shooting in the winter, a lot of folks will tap the holder before, like tap the side of the holder to either the camera or the tripod before it goes into the camera back. So they'll give it like a little tap on here. And what that does is it kind of settles the film so it resists that whole popping thing. But when you have a pressure and temperature differential from inside that dark slide, you can sometimes get a pop of the film. This happens between like humid and dry scenarios, and the film will just kind of buckle around, but that tapping helps to kind of settle it. So thanks for that question. All right. Oh, this is kind of a cool question. If all my large format gear evaporated tomorrow and the money I spent returned to your account, what kind of kit would you seek out? One, care stuff and have that money come back to the account? No, but you know, this sounds silly. I would probably seek out the first camera I worked with, the Eastman commercial. It was a camera that was even more limiting in terms of movements and settings than my Takahara, because that camera, oh my God, I abused that camera so much. It was this magnesium, lightweight, but super rigid camera. I loved it. I did have to give it back when my professor, Mr. Spencer Cunningham, needed it for another student who was just starting their 8x10 journey. So I was really happy to, move it along to somebody else, but man, I really missed that camera. And it forced me to be more creative. I'm a photographer that thrives on limitations. And when I have more limitations with the camera, so less things to do, I start to think, oh, well, how can I get that same look, but using less movements? Or can I move the camera back? By the way, this is my geared head. That's why it's not gonna fall. It looks funky, but it's not gonna fall. How can I move this and then do this instead of trying to do something on the front standard, because that camera had no front standard movements. And that's assuming I would buy an 8x10. Realistically, I'd probably buy a 4x5. I'd get like a Wista or a Takahara, like my buddy Tariq has, and I'd probably be fine from there. It's still gonna be a folding field camera type, whatever I get, but I would probably scour these for an Eastman commercial B. They hardly ever come up, but when they do, they actually go for pretty reasonable, about $1,500–1,600 US. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to pin up the link that Laura posted for joining LFF. So thank you so much for doing that. All right. Larry has a question. A recent shoot, I was having difficulty time focusing in the corners. Do you have any tips for that? Larry, corners are hard. They are some of the hardest things to work with. And the wider your lens is, the harder the corners become. In fact, on my Takahara here, corners are super hard because the back of this camera has clipped corners. Let me see if I can aim it around. I may actually need to change the battery on the other on my B camera because it's dead. So let's see if I can lightning fast battery here. But corners, oh, it's still good. Battery's not dead yet. So let me cut over to this. We can see the back of my glass here. So I can't even focus in these corners. Like, there's no hope here, right? Let me back this up a little bit. I'm getting less reflection. That looks a little bit better. So when you have chipped corners are going to be tough. But what I'll usually do is I'll kind of tuck in and I'll say, oh, I'll try to look towards the lens through that corner. The only problem there is I might be misfocusing when I do that. But while we're here, I might as well talk about corners. All right, actually, let's talk origin story for the Takahara here. I mentioned that her name was Madoka, and here's why. The person that owned this camera before me carved their name into her. So that's 1986, Madoka right there. And funny enough, I was born in 1986, so we're the same age. And despite all the dings and bruises, I think Madoka looks a little bit better than I do for the age. And here's to many more years with Madoka, my lovely 8x10 Takahara. All right, so I'm gonna move this camera back over here. And all right, let's get back to the stream a little bit. We got someone coming through here on the live stream. No worries, guys. Larry, thanks again for that question. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I've got a question from Josep. What's the usable widest lens for 4x5? Well, it really depends on what you call usable, but a couple months back on the channel, I did a video about the Silvestri 4x5. It was called the Shift Cameras episode. There, that Silvestri camera for 4x5 had a 47mm Schneider Super Angulon XL and a 58mm XL. I liked the 58 when I was shooting 4x5, but I was shooting a lot of that episode with a 6x12 roll film adapter. And I loved the 47 for that. I thought it was just like amazing, just how wide it was in that long format. I come in and out of like these spurts of like, okay, 4x5 format is cool. Well, you know, 4x5 aspect ratio is cool, but I need to try something else. And when I really liked the super wide angle, but for me, the widest I like going is my 121 on 8x10, which is like, I think that's like having a 75-ish or 65-ish on, it might be like a somewhere between 65 and 75 on 4x5. But the widest usable is in the 40s. I think there are some 38s that cover, but those things are just absurd. Like they're little marbles essentially. But that was a great question. Let's see. I want to block that user. I just want to hide the question. There we go. Very, very cool. Thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. This is Large Format Live. We're here celebrating 10K subs. I announced this really, really cool film, FPP Frankenstein, and I have here some tester film. I've got some medium formats. Come on, cover my face. There we go. I've got some Frankenstein in medium format. Love the branding on it, and I do have a box of the 4x5. There it is right there. So yeah, 200 speed, black and whites. More info about it once I get to shooting it and testing it. So very, very cool. So question from Anthony, any thoughts or desire using 510 Pyro? I'm a PyroCat HD guy. I really don't want to introduce a new developer right now. If there's something new that comes out, I might test it, but it honestly took me like 5 years to really understand what was going on when I was using Pyro. There's a really great article on the large format photography.info. And I honestly can't remember who wrote the article, but the little blog post is titled Confessions of a Magic Bullet Chaser. And in this article, he states, you know, that PyroCat HD is put up on this legendary pedestal. You know, good photos come to you when you start using something like that. But the honest truth is there's no magic bullets when it comes to photography, but there are tools that may help you better. And even in that article, the author describes, you know, if you don't know the basics of operating your camera, changing to a new tool isn't going to help. In fact, it usually resets you back to square one. But very proficient, and you already know what you like. Scouting out for that extra little thing to change those 1% to 2%, to take things from amazing to stellar, like that's what you would use a change in developer like that for. So great question. Oh, here we go. Marriott has another question. I just broke my ground glass. Oh, I am so sorry about that. Would I bother to repair glue or just get a new one? I would recommend replacing the ground glass, but when you do that, go ahead and get an acrylic one made as well as another glass one. I always have an acrylic ground glass in my film holder bag when I'm out in the field because it's the most indestructible thing next to my cameras, like my tripod. So I will have an acrylic ground glass in there just in case. Acrylic is going to be 2 to 3 stops darker than even a normal ground glass. So it will be dim, but I would prefer dim over guessing when it comes to focus. You can also use 2 pieces. You can use like a piece of Scotch tape, like the frosted tape, to form an image on there, or even like tissue paper. There's all sorts of fun little alternatives you can use. I did an episode in season 2, I believe, or it might have been season 1 about ground glass, checking that one out, where I cover some of those alternatives. But DIY ground glass is really great. Tony Santo has a really good video about how to grind your own glass that I did a few years ago, and I make my own ground glass now. It's pretty cheap. Cool. All right. Let's see. Oh man, got lots of cool. Oh, you know what? This is a great comment. So in answer to Larry's question, kind of again about the corners, the Silvestri loop that Florian's talking about here in the chat I believe that if that's the one I'm thinking of, it's a tilting loop. So you can actually place the loop in the corner and then kind of tilt it back toward you. It's like a fancy jeweler's loop. It's almost like a posable microscope sort of thing. Very similar to grain focusers that can change position. Awesome for using in the corners because you have like a different angle of attack when you're working it. So yeah, great comment there. I really appreciate that, Florian. All right. Whoa, did I get to the top of the chat? It updated. All right, let's see. I got a question from Troy. I shoot a Nagaoka 4x5 and looking for a back to adapt a roll film holder. I have several holders, need a graph lock back that will fit. There are some manufacturers, there are some independents on eBay that will manufacture custom adapter backs, but you may want to look at backs that fit within the spring back of your camera. So I believe Calumet made one. There was a few manufacturers that made holders. They look almost like the Polaroid 545. So they're just like really, really long. And then there's a big, honking cassette that kind of sticks out the spring back. So you don't need a graph lock back, but it is convenient. So if you plan on doing things like the Lomography Lomo graph lock back, go ahead and look into a custom made one. I've mentioned on the channel before, Luland, they make some custom stuff. But there's a few of them on eBay that will make adapters. But I would say probably the cheapest way to go is to look for a roll film back that's the format you want, like the Calumet, and just has the roll on the outside. Okay, let's see. Terry's got a question. If I want to shoot infinity, where do I measure? The back of the glass to the film plane? So I usually do kind of where the shutter comes in from the camera to the ground glass. But I mean, if you've got a ground glass on there, go ahead and check it. Make sure, check with your loop and make sure you're actually at infinity or the furthest object that you can see in the background. Like don't focus on like a blue sky. You're not gonna be able to find anything in there, but like a building more than, a couple hundred feet away, that'll tell you when you're at infinity. And you can kind of get your ruler out or check. And I have had folks mention on the channel before, some cameras like my Takahara here is this, wow, the Fuji's like hanging in there. The other camera here is running on a battery, so it's like on its last legs. But this camera, my Takahara, actually has a metric right here. So when I move it, I can just count the centimeters. And I found again that if I measure from the middle right here, where the lens attached to my standard, that's pretty accurate for it. And hey, look at that. It's a 30 centimeter bed, 30 centimeters, 300, well, it's a 355, but 300 millimeter lens. That's a pretty easy to go by. Okay, let's see. Now we're catching up to the chat. Hey, we're still got 80 folks tuning in. Thanks for tuning into Large Format Live, guys. I know I'm not doing like any live printing day, nothing too exciting, but I did promise I wanted to celebrate 10K subs, and I want to give back to you guys by sharing as much knowledge as I can. So thank you so much. All right. Here we go. Call out to the chat. Anyone interested in being paid to make ground? So there you go. You could make a few bucks, 20, 30 bucks. I think that'd be pretty fair. If it's an 8x10, probably a little bit more. All right. Got a question from Brad. Have I ever tried trichrome? I have not, of all the things, but there are a few cool folks that are out there that have been doing some trichrome. Probably one of the coolest that I've seen consistently does trichrome stuff. Basement Dark, is it Basement Darkroom or is it Closet Dark? No, I think it's Basement Darkroom. Is a really that talks about doing trichrome and all sorts of other cool tests. I think I just watched a video where they were taking Pan-F and pushing it to 3200 with pretty predictable results at 3200, but it was really cool to see. Okay, let's see. All right, wow, I am actually caught up to the front of the chat. Okay, so this is the perfect time. Another announcement thing. So the first announcement, if you're just tuning in, was FPP Frankenstein gets announced next week. 200 speed black and white. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be in 4x5. Like, that's awesome. I am so excited about that. The other announcement I have, if any of you follow some of the hip folks over at Brooklyn, Is it Brooklyn Film Camera? Brooklyn Darkroom? I can't remember. Jeez, I need to remember names a lot better. But if you follow those folks, you may have seen that there is a film meetup coming up soon, and you might have seen some hype with Mr. Ethan Moses of Cameradactyl. And in that, he was touting this pretty awesome awesome camera, which is, oh, okay, close tab. My tab just crashed. I don't know why my tab's Brooklyn. Let me try to, sorry, I'm like looking at stuff. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, Brooklyn Film Camera has a pretty cool thing going on. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, so there's Ethan 20x24 camera, and he's going to be there for a really cool film event, making 20x24, we're going to call them instant portraits. It's really using a process you may have seen here on the channel before, but he's like one of the guys that's leading the way, leading the charge in advancing RA4 reversal. Yeah, yes, that's a color positive being done daylight. It's a really cool reversal process. And look at that. That is a massive 4x5, or sorry, massive 20x24 inch instant print, which is pretty cool. And if you're in the New York City area during the upcoming Film Fest in early October, you can check it out. But, oh, Attic Darkroom. Thank you so much for the folks in the chat. But why did I say basement darkroom? Maybe I'm the person that thinks it's in the basement. Anyway, Attic Darkroom. Thank you so much. I apologize if you are watching the channel. But the reason I'm mentioning Ethan and his cool process with the RA4 reversal is that we have there's another stop that's going to be happening on this little tour with 20 instant portraits. If you want to get your portrait taken with a massive 20x24 camera with that RA4 process, you'll be able to take home a 20x24 inch portrait. That is also here to Columbus, Ohio. It's coming the weekend of October 16th, which is pretty cool. So if you are into that sort of thing and you want a big portrait made, it's coming here, which is pretty sweet. In fact, Laura has posted in the chat the link to check it out. It's a big old link, but yes, please check it out. We also have bookings live for it. It's happening, and I really can't wait to get in the presence of this ultra large format 20x24 beast and make some cool portraits for people. They're going to be truly one of things. 20x24 Polaroid is like still a thing, but it's not a thing. And if it is a thing, it's still very expensive. This is probably the most inexpensive way to get a one-of-a-kind massive portrait made. Bookings are live on my website right now. You can go to the link that Lauren has thrown in there and check it out. So bookings are live. We're going to be there Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, if you're a fan of the channel, come and hang out. We're going to be Ethan and I are going to be the ones that are taking portraits with the camera, processing it, and just talking about the process. So it's a great experience, something so cool like that, completely live. This is actually a really cool comment. Will I ever do an LF 101? That's actually kind of the reason the shorts are becoming a thing on the channel. I want to have quick, digestible little one-at-a-time segments that will, sometimes poke fun at large format, but also be a handy little guide that when watched together successively, you can get a little bit more confidence to take out the camera, because these things look intimidating, but they're like the simplest things ever. There's nothing electronic about this. It's all mechanical. It's just some wood, some brass, and some glass. That's it. There's not much more to it. So I want to instill confidence in any way possible. So I thank you so much for that question. And that's my goal here with the channel, is to really kind of ease folks into, I think the more you see something, the more you experience prior to it, the more confidence you build, even if you've never done it before. So that's the whole goal of the channel. Let's see how are we doing here. Yes, so Jesse, I tipped Jesse off about this. So yeah, I kind of spoiled him, but pretty neat stuff. Somebody's giving Todd a shout out. Todd's got a really cool channel. Devin also has some cool suggestions for other large format channels, and all yeah, I'm pretty sure all of these channels are bigger ones than little old LFF here. So and is it Karine or Karen? Her channel is awesome. Love her attitude and her approach and her use of color. So it's, yeah, really cool, folks. Like, I subscribe to just about all of these folks. So yeah, check them out for sure. How are we doing? Oh my gosh, has it been? Uh-oh, yep, Laura's calling me out here. Well, you know, there's like things to talk about. Anyway, I'm gonna pop over to the website here once more, because I want to make sure I'm showing you guys, kind of guiding you to where things are located. And I'm going to plug this stuff more on the channel, but I wanted to have a, like, you heard it here first on the live stream. So if you head over Marrash.com, there's another thing. I talked about one-on-one events earlier, but if you go to events, you'll see there's only one event on here because I don't host a lot of events, but there it is. 20 by 24 instant portraits with Ethan Moses of Cameradactyl and Matt Marrash. A 20 by 24 portrait. They're big, but big ain't cheap, and this is about as inexpensive as it gets for that. So you can actually head over and book a session. We're going to be going for nearly 12 hours, about a half day on Sunday. So you have a chance to book for that right over on the site. It is live right now. So yeah, please go ahead and check that out. Let's see, any other questions I missed? I probably did miss some questions. If I did, I am so sorry, guys. This is, you know, the high of the live stream is kind of getting to me. Very cool. Oh, that's why people were asking about 5 best photography channels on YouTube. All right, so this one isn't really photography, but it's one of my favorite YouTube channels, because it's just like, so they do one thing and they don't stray too far. Cook Optics, as in the same folks that I was talking about with the Cook XVA lens, the Cook look. So COOKE. Cook Optics on YouTube is favorite channels because they're talking to cinematographers, DPs, gaffers, grips, producers, all sorts of folks to get a better idea of the film industry, so like motion picture. But things they talk about apply very much to large format. And a lot of the mentality of these famous cinematographers is very similar, right in line with what we would experience with the large format process. In fact, there's carryover as well. That's why we have Gregory Crudson. Very similar approaches, approaches photography like cinematography and takes that influence over. So there's a lot of good crossover. And I think one of the best photo channels, photo/video channels, bar none, is Cook Optics. I know that's like a weird opinion. Ben Horn, he's another that I like. Oh my gosh, there's just, yeah, there's so much good stuff in there. Yeah, Nick Carver, awesome stuff. He was another channel that debuted. Oh, this little thing right here. See, I brought stuff with me today. This is the Reveni Labs spot meter. In fact, I brought both Revenis. I've got the original Reveni and the new one, the one that's shipping out product-wise. Full review on this, I know I mentioned it a few times, is coming soon. It is coming. I haven't shot as much, but everything I've been shooting, natural light, has been with this. If this thing did flash, it would replace every single other meter I have, but alas, it does not. So I have to have a flash meter, but this has a bag. So the Reveni spot meter, awesome stuff. All right, how are we doing? I bet okay, we got some stuff. Oh man, well, don't be late for work on my account. So, you know, get some rest if possible, between checking out the stream and all that. Oh, Borut, a very cool photographer who dabbles in alternative photographic processes. So I love watching his content. It's Borut has a lifestyle. You know, there's like an approach to everything that is just really cool. And I love the feeling of his photographs is probably the most real. So like nothing looks super overly perfection polished. It looks just real, and I can get that in his style and his approach to things. So I feel like Bro is a guy that I would just love to hear him talk about anything, but it's also cool that he's into film photography in large formats. So yeah, I could like watch him talk about anything. Very cool. We have 10 from Troy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by today, and yeah, for supporting the channel. This is huge. Actually, I do have another question here from Brandon. When would I use rear swing? My Wist has front shift and tilt, but swing does have rear swing. So, you know, you can use rear movements to change focus, but just remember that rear movements will also change the shape because you're changing how far that light has to travel to the film plane. So you can change focus with that rear swing, but if you go too extreme with it, you might start get really weird like blobs that are out of focus, and you may, well, just like perspective distortion from getting too close to something, I can change the size of that by moving the swing as well. So just be careful when you're doing rear swing. But my first camera, my Eastman Commercial B, did not have any like front tilt or swing, and it was great. It achieved what I wanted it to. Were some lines still like not quite, or was sometimes I would have to stop down my lens more, so use a higher F number than if I had a front standard movement for it. But I would use a rear swing in lieu of a front swing any day. Just know that the shape may be impacted. I might not do it for like a portrait, because I might like accidentally enlarge one shoulder or one side of the face if I'm very close. So good question. All right. Judah, I'm sorry. I don't think we can get Ethan to leave New Mexico for more than he currently is. So he's only doing it in Columbus because he's coming on back through. So he's from he's from New Mexico. He's heading over to NYC. He's stopping in Columbus on the way. So I'm just happy that he's stopping when he is stopping. But if you have the ability to make it out there, I'm trying to announce this as soon as I have it, so you guys have as much time to book for the for that 20 by 24 instant event. So thank you so much. Ooh, favorite photographer documentary. I could rewatch the old 50s Weston and Adams, Ansel Adams ones all the time. Like I think I just watched the Weston one from start to finish a couple weeks ago, because I love that they just kind of like show there's all these cats in his house, like so like the threat of, you know, pet dander and fur is real. I could watch those the other one I could watch is, oh my gosh, I'm like blanking on names. Oh shoot, Bill, I can never remember Bill's name, but New York City street photographer, really good stuff there. You know, I haven't watched the Vivian Maier one more than once, so that's not like a favorite. It's really good, but I don't binge a lot of those either. So I'll usually check them out once, but the older ones I kind of like the background music, so I'll watch those a lot too. All right. Ooh, I just like this comment, so I'm just dropping it down below. Very, very zen. I like it. So thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Oh, you know what? Jeremy, thank you so much for reminding me, because a documentary, a photography documentary that I watched that like did tears a couple times, The B-Side with Elsa Dorfman. So good. I loved everything about it, and every time they would cut to an interview of Elsa in like her archive or darkroom space, like the massive like flat files and all that work, I was just like, oh my God, I want to have all this stuff, but also, oh my gosh, where am I going to put all this stuff? That's what I thought watching that. But I loved her attitude on everything, and kind of just the, you know, kind of pushing against what the prevailing and very male-dominated trends in photography were, but still becoming, you know, the kind of photographer she always was. So that was, I love The B-Side, but I haven't rewatched it as much because I just recently watched the full thing. If you hear rumbling in the background, that is a train. Everywhere I go is like right near a train track, so my apologies for the rumbling. Oh, somebody answered it in the chat. Yes, it was Bill Cunningham. Thank you. The Bill Cunningham documentary is great. There's some lighthearted and sad parts to it. I loved watching that. When they cut to like his New York City apartment with like sleeping on the stacks of negatives, I was like, oh my gosh, this, like, I'm having glimpses of the future and all of these negatives, and where do I put them? So that was, yes, Bill Cunningham. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's see. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is one I have not checked out, but I'm dropping it down below. So worth checking out. War Photographer. The documentary is about James Nachtwey. Is excellent, but not for the faint of heart. You know, there was another documentary I watched. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. Was it called Monk with a Camera, or was that just like the tagline for it? It was about a photographer who had kind of completely moved over to Buddhism, and yeah, I remember there even being some 4x5 in the documentary. I watched that one years. That one was really good. All right. Oh, Everybody's Street. That's another great recommendation for photo related documentaries. So if you're just stopping by, this is Large Format Live. We're kind of at the tail end here. Everywhere we have been. Yeah. We were doing some Q&A. We're at 10K subs, or at 10.1K, so that's crazy. I can't believe there's so many folks, even worldwide, all of you folks, learning more about large format. We're discovering things together. You know, what I love the most about this channel is you folks keep me honest about brushing up and relearning things that maybe I'd forgotten, or discovering new things about large format. So, you know, you're helping me get better with large format, and I'm just sharing everything I've gotten up until this point, and making sure my notes are right on things I say. So thank you so much for keeping the channel going like that. For those of you that are kicking in with super chats, and so much, it's huge. We announced the FPP Frankenstein, which is a new film that's going to be have the full announcement coming next week. That's going to be awesome. It's also going to be available in 4x5-inch sheet film, which I don't need a boutique release that has 4x5. So this is cool stuff. We also have the 20x24 instant portrait session with Mr. Ethan Moses of Cameradactyl. You can book for that over on my website. You just head over to Marrash.com, and there's a little events tab. That's going to be the easiest way to check it out. And we are going to be doing 20x24 instant portraits the weekend of October 16th. So check that out. That's going to be here in Columbus, Ohio. Sessions, they're going to be booked in little 30-minute segments. A 20x24 portrait that you can walk home with isn't cheap. It's $200, but it goes towards supporting both the channel here as well as Ethan's projects over at Cameradactyl. I mean, you know, schlepping all this stuff from New Mexico. So check those out too. I really, really, really appreciate it. All right, we're kind of rounding things out. Oh, Ron, thank you so much for the comment. I really, really appreciate it. Michael Rosso, I can't remember who was the first one to say it, but he is the godfather of photography. It helps that he lives in Jersey. He lives in just kind of gangster land when it comes to the part of Jersey he's from. But he really is the godfather of film photography. He took it from this, you know, this zany podcast with him and a few of his friends to just this juggernaut in the film photography world, and has re-inspired and reinvigorated so many things, sent out film cameras all around the world, just getting folks jazzed about film, and now bringing films to the forefront. So I have Mike to thank for like everything in film photography, including this new FPP Frankenstein, which will be more details and pricing in the next in the upcoming weeks. Oh, somebody reminding me that this amazing human is still out there and making cool new work. I actually follow him and follow/stalk him on Facebook. Mr. Nobuyuki, amazing work. There's this great documentary on Vimeo talking about his process and his looking for gods in every. So he has a very Shinto approach in seeing the gods and the deities in everyday parts of nature. I adore his nature photography, his very delicate paper, like super paper thin, washy platinum palladium prints. He has a new book coming, and I am going to be following every ounce of that, and a Kickstarter for it is coming soon. I will be talking very much about it on the channel because I want to see that succeed. I want another Nobuyuki Kobayashi book. So also an 8x10 guy, so check him out. Oh my gosh, Lily, thank you so much for stopping by. All right, everybody, this is you, all 69 people that are watching right now. Go to Lily's channel. I'm gonna try to point, yeah, right there. Go to Lily's channel, hit subscribe, and check out her awesome videos. Lily is like lo-fi beats to shoot film to. That's how I associate her videos. She's got one of the best voices in film photography YouTube. Very soft and soothing. Like I'm relaxed as all get out watching Lily's videos. She's also like into synths, and she's like super smart and talks about like, yeah, just follow her. Like go right now, go subscribe, give her all of the internet glory and points. She deserves it. The work that she puts into her videos is insane, and check her out. All right. Devin was reminding me what it was called, Portrait of Nature, Myriad of Gods. Yes, yes, yes. Nobuyuki is awesome. Let's see. Oh, you know what? That's a really good idea. I'm getting used to this whole pointing thing. That's a very good idea, Jeremy. I will see how Ethan feels about it. Also, I know this is silly. If you're on TikTok, check me out on TikTok. It's tiktok.com/@matt4226. I really recommend checking them out, because once I hit 1,000 followers on there, I can live stream. And I want to be able to try a live stream, like a large format live in a different format. See if we can get different folks. I have all sorts of folks and all sorts of age groups checking it out on TikTok, and that's why I want to do this, is keep people going with it. Let's see. Very cool. Again, everybody, right now, go to Lily, subscribe. Just do it. She's great. And she doesn't spam with a lot of stuff. Her videos super well thought out. Check her out. All right, let's see. Yes. That's what I was trying to get at, and I was like stumbling over my words. Public maker, and worth checking out. I think one time I tuned into a video and she was like talking about programming Raspberry Pi. I was like, oh my god, I like barely just got together a server and like caught something on fire. I should probably just videos before I try to do anything. Let's see. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, this was kind of one that put her on the map in a lot of the film photography groups, but definitely, yes, please check her out. Okay, I have gone way longer than I thought I was going to. I'm going to, yeah, just kind of start wrapping things up. Thank you so much, everybody who stopped by today. This was kind of an, not really impromptu, but I didn't have a big print thing scheduled. I was going to, if I had more time, well, I might as well tell you that I'm doing it, but then I'll like get to it on the after side of things. So I'll probably mention it on the channel here in some upcoming videos, but I was cleaning up the garage, and I found some platinum palladium prints that I had not yet sold. So I'm going to be giving away some platinum palladium prints. So I'm going to post I'm probably just going to do like a YouTube post the rules for these, but we're going to be giving away some platinum palladium prints. And yeah, so stay tuned. I want to give stuff away to you guys. I give away my camera, but they're getting kind of harder to find. And this one's actually too beat up to give away. Madoka, she's my girl. We stay together. So yeah, print giveaways. FPP Frankenstein coming soon. Announcement coming soon. So check more of that out. And the 20x24 instant session with Mr. Ethan Moses of Cameradactyl. So be sure to check all of those out. To the channel, please check it out. If you're just getting into large format, you don't know what the heck this big camera is, you can find out more by subscribing to the channel and checking out the videos. There's 3 whole seasons already of Large Format Friday, and I plan on there being at least a couple more. No, we're just going to keep going until I run out of ideas, and I don't think I will at this pace. So thank you so much. Oh, there we go. Laura is calling me out because she has seen the stack of prints. She knows where they're hiding and probably doesn't want to see them anymore. So we have lots of prints that will probably make their way to giveaways here pretty soon. Plus, prints are a little bit lighter to ship than like full like cameras and stuff. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and stay tuned for some more large format shorts, some pushes of shorts to TikTok, and a Large Format Friday LFF Season 4 coming very soon. So cheers, and yeah, we'll see you next time.